Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons. Mwahahaha. Oh, wait, need to turn my phone down now so I don't hear myself because that'll be awkward.
Konnichiwa. Ohio.
Volume, turn that all the way
Howdy.
down.
Because I'm the poncy bastard that I am, I have music going for my opening.
I'm waiting to get the opening set up until I get the artwork back, Chun. It's almost
Fair
done.
enough. Sure, I don't doubt you. I'm sure it's better than what I've got on my opening right now. Assuming you can see
Yes.
it, I sure can't.
I can't see it.
Yes. Do you have the studio mode on?
No, I don't.
Hey, Strawberry, how you doing? Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons. We are running Tomb of Annihilation. While we're having technical difficulties with Chun, let me introduce you to our players in case you missed
Oh,
episode
now
0.
it's not. Now I can see it.
That one is Chun right there. We are
Hi.
we are also joined by DigiPichu.
Hey,
We are joined by Kitsu Sakura.
Konnichiwa.
We are joined by the evil memes.
hello, hello.
Only evil because he tied me today. And we are also joined by Zach.
Howdy.
And we are officially going to be kicking off Tomb of Annihilation here with some interesting play and hopefully some shenaniganery for today.
We're all gonna die.
Potentially. There is a not 0% chance that that could happen. So, again, I suppose I should ask, John, are you out of your intro yet?
I got another 40 seconds.
Okay, we'll wait to kick off until you're done.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just madly scrambling to get this working.
Well, switching over to a new system is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah, at least you had help doing it.
You did. Thank you, Digi.
Yeah, I went from myself from Twitch Studio to regular OBS, and then I'm stuck with I say stuck with, that's a bad thing. I'm using Streamlabs OBS now, and I really like it. The only
Okay, there goes the music.
the only downside to Streamlabs is if I shrink my screen down enough to get it onto my one monitor, it is too small for me to see my chat there, so I have to have a fourth monitor, which is basically my phone, to see chat. Hi, chat.
Well, at least it sounds okay on my side too, so I can mute myself over there. Yay!
Huzzah! So what you guys will be seeing on the main screen over here on your guys' stuff, all in chat and watching the stream, is going to be essentially the player's view. Zoom out a little bit. I might have to play around with that once we get into some of the actual adventure part. But we will see how that works. You won't be seeing any rolls. You won't be seeing anything crazy like that. But I can see that all on my side on my other screen.
Not to necessarily shamelessly cross promote, but if you want to see my side, I actually have my. Nope, that's the wrong button. I actually have my character sheet as a window that can be seen. So
Yep, hold on one second. Let me post this. I gotta go into here. It is. I got it. Twitch. Hold on. Click down on that. Go.
Having
into...
seen that,
Why-
you might want to lower it just a tiny bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Why is this not? It's not moving. Why is it not moving?
Do you have it clicked?
It was clicked.
There
Copy
you go.
link.
Oh, it
Back
also
to
might.
Twitch.
I think I also know what was wrong. It was scrolled down a bit in the window because I'm using window capture.
E.
If you guys want to see it from the player's point of view, Chun is streaming in. That is his Twitch link. So by all means, go view there too. Kitsu, are you streaming too?
Nay,
Nay?
probably next.
Okay. Oh, Kitsu will have one, and I'll make sure next session to post her link. We have a bunch of streamers here. Everybody from this group is a part of our Crenbowl community, so a little way for me to give back to these guys and also torture all of them.
Also, don't feel compelled to watch all of ours at the same times. I'm certainly not going to be able to.
You definitely
Not
should,
that
though.
attitude.
That's what multiple monitors are for. You need enough monitors to watch everybody all at once.
Yeah, just be like that scene from The Matrix.
Which one?
Yes.
The one where it's the architect surrounded by TVs.
Oh, I knew exactly which one you were talking about, but there were like a number of them that were like watching various video feeds, even if some of them were only in binaric.
Well, mainly that one, because
Yeah.
All
that's the one that
right.
makes the most sense.
Well, with that being said, players, we're going to get started. And just so we can recap, I'm going to read the first little text blurbs to get us back into the mood. So, for the past several days, talk of the streets and taverns has all been about the so-called death curse, a wasting disease afflicting everyone who's ever been raised from the dead. Victims grow thinner and weaker each day, slowly but steadily sliding towards the death they once denied. Once they finally succumb, they can't be raised, and neither can anyone else, regardless of whether they've ever received that miracle in the past. Temples and scholars of divine magic are at a loss to explain the curse that has affected the entire region and possibly the entire world. You've been invited to the home of Sindra Sylvain, a retired adventurer and merchant. A uniformed attendant leads you up a grand staircase to the third floor and then ushers you into a wood-paneled room with a fireplace, comfortable chairs, and a heavy table bearing goblets and bottles of wine. The darkly paneled walls are hung with maps and sea charts. Racks, shelves, and cabinets hold hundreds more rolled-up maps and charts. A person is seated in an overstuffed chair near the fire. You can't discern a gender because only the person's head emerges from under a heavy blanket draped over the chair. An embroidered hood and silvered mask conceals the wearer's face. Even the person's dry, raspy voice provides no clue. Help yourself to some wine and seat yourself, friends. I hope I may call you that.
I appreciate your hospitality. Pardon if I. Pardon if I don't. Not been accustomed to such libations.
I will not be so rude as to deny some wine, so thank you for your hospitality.
Yes, quite enjoy what you wish.
Salur will just skip the refreshments and pop a squat in a chair.
It would seem you have a fine library here. I imagine it's taken several years, a lifetime even, to collect it.
I once was an adventurer many, many years ago. I even died once and was raised from the dead, but closed that door long ago. Yes, you could say it was a lifetime of gathering. I suppose you wonder why you are all here.
Yeah, actually.
Well, allow me to explain. The death curse And the figure takes a little cloth and wipes at the mouth of the silver mask. That you've all heard about has struck me, and I don't know how much longer I'll be around. The clerks have offered no hope, and they have no clue as to what is going on. I do still have some contacts within the Harpers, and they believe that the cause of this is a artifact believed to be called the Soulmonger. According to their sources, it is located somewhere in Chult.
An artifact, you say? What details do you have?
Not much at this time. They just believe it is necromantic in origin.
Interesting.
Yes, indeed. My order is particularly interested in artifacts of such variety. Learning more of it would benefit us tremendously.
Well, I would not wish you to take this mission without proper payment. Should you accept and are successful, as I am now a well-off merchant and have had many adventures, I have many, many items that are magical that I'd be more than happy to part. One for each of you of your choice.
Your offer has certainly attracted my attention.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, this is. But it might not be enough. This is a grand venture, and we might require a bit more, considering the scale.
Oh, speak for yourself, Green. Knowledge of any kind, however it is attained, is useful.
Yes, and so are the means to acquire more knowledge, of course.
If it is coin you seek to help you, the figure lets out a long sigh. I can suppose I could part with 50 gold pieces for each. Would this be agreeable? And she looks right at Rote.
Well, yes, it shall be. Thank you for your generosity.
When you are ready to depart, I can teleport us all to Port Nizanru, the biggest settlement, only settlement truly in Chult. But before we go, please, do you have any other questions? I do not wish to see you go off and be unprepared.
I would hate specifically to presume anything about this artifact of which we are seeking, or even that that isn't exactly what we are being hired for. Any more information, however, upon the continent of Chult would be of tremendous help. I'm unfortunate to say that my order has not made a tremendous geological survey, or geographic for that matter.
Well, it seems like you have one from the region, but to assuage you, I can tell you what I know. Chult is a peninsula near the south, ringed by mountains and choked with rainforests. inhabited by enormous reptiles, savage goblins, and overrun with the undead. Mapping the place has been nigh impossible. Nothing's known beyond a few miles within the region from the coast. I have put everything I know about into a map, and once we arrive in the port, I will hand it to you.
Greatly
When it-
appreciated.
When it comes to navigating the forests, I can be of assistance. The rainforest is my home.
Well then, it sounds like we have ourselves a decent way forward. Don't worry, I shall be more than willing to analyze any creatures, flora, fauna, and take more than my fair share of leaf rubbings.
I
I do not wish to randomly traipse into the forest on a hint. Do you have any leads that we could follow?
No, but randomly traipsing through the forest is where all the good ingredients are.
well,
Furthermore, as far as virginal lands are concerned, how do we know where to go unless we get there?
asking around the port may give you some leads as to potentially where to go. I will be remaining in the port, staying with a friend named Wakanga Tumu. He's one of the 7 merchant princes who rules over over the city.
Well, my initial what's the word? Trepidations, that's it. My initial trepidations have been more than sufficiently assuaged. The rest of you? Ooh, voice crack.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Get to see a lot more things I could potentially make.
Then, friends, if I may still call you that, gather around while I gather the power I have left and teleport us to Port Nizanru. The figure stands up and motions you to become close to them. They began chanting in Draconic some ancient arcane words. And with that, the party feels magical energy engulfing around them. And they appear in Port Nizanru.
I was waiting for that sound.
You appear in a tropical city under the blazing sun. The first thing you truly notice, especially those wearing anything in medium or above armor, is the intense blast of heat as you begin to feel slightly like you are baking in your armor.
I always enjoy using magical teleportation. It always has a nice chilling feeling, and oh my gods, that is hot.
The familiar sounds of a harbor, creaking ropes, slapping waves, heavy barrels rolling across cobblestone, mingle with voices shouting and cursing in an unfamiliar language filled with clicks, inhalations, and sing-songy words that makes it almost sound musical. The aroma of unfamiliar spices and tropical fruits mixes with the wharfside smells of fish, tar, and canvas. You guys have appeared right where I pinged. Beyond all that, Port Nizanru is an explosion of color. Buildings are painted in the bright shades of blue, green, orange, salmon, pink, or their walls are adorned with murals portraying giant reptiles and mythical heroes. Every building sports baskets and clay urns of colorful flowers or is draped in leafy, flowery vines. Minstrels in bright clothing adorned with feathers and shells perform on street corners. Multicolored pennants and sun awnings flutter atop the city walls. A crowd of children dressed in feathered hats and capes race past you, squealing in delighted terror as a street performer costumed as a big toothed lizard stomps and roars behind them. The whole city seems to be bustling, sweating, laughing, swearing, and singing. The cinder, the one who teleported you, immediately begins dabbing away at the edges of the masks to wipe away sweat. I would recommend, if you are planning on taking the adventure or exploring the city, giving yourselves rooms either at the Thundering Lizard if you wish to have a raucous time, or Kaya's House of Repose if you actually wish for a good night's sleep. Both are located near the Red Bazaar.
Well, other than the heat, I can see that I'll probably be able to fit in here. Oh, look at all the colorful buildings and people.
As you look around, Kitsu, you
Mhm.
notice that there's actually a rather large dinosaur just marching past one of the buildings in front of you that's hauling a couple of carts behind it.
Uh, oh, there's a rather big lizard dragging carts behind him. Should we follow?
You know, you notice Diggory, his big old minotaur nose already jammed into it in one of his sketch and notebooks, drawing a rough outline of this creature.
Uh, Rather than focusing on the lizard, Rot is instead looking around, paranoid, and his hand is firmly on his coin pouch.
If you will excuse me, I will be going to visit my merchant prince friend. I will be there and until you are done and you can find me at his palace. And unless you try and stop her with anything, the figure gives you a gentle bow and walks away.
Mm, I don't try.
I'm too
Where would
fascinated
we
by the things
find
of
your
Flynn.
residence?
They no. Get back into the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, the DM has already screwed something up big time with the map.
No, I hit the wrong button on my mouse, which kicked me out of roll 20. I
Whoopsie
didn't want that.
doodles. Whoopsie
No,
doodles.
no.
My point remains unchanged. Always taken aback by the soundboards. God damn it.
She actually points just above you to right there. My friend resides in that villa above the port. Should you need me, I will be there.
Keeping on the map where it is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Yeah.
She again, the figure again bows to you and begins walking off toward to get to the villa.
Even though it can't be readable because it's all in yellow. And it's all yellow.
It's
I'm not sure the
Technically-
blues, greens, or maroons are helping either.
well, yellow is probably going to stand out because it's if we just glance over things, it's just yellow text randomly there.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as long as we don't put yellow text for anything else, we're good.
Well, the party has an entire city to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to go? Or what do you want to do?
If
We have
we
50
are
gold, right?
You each were given 50 gold, yes.
okay, let me mark that down real quick.
Well, I suppose I can't be spending all of my time sketching these great beasts. Oh. Oh, don't. Sorry about that. I tend to become a little bit more formal around people, especially people of power.
These great beasts you speak, the dinosaurs, are quite common here. You have plenty of time to take your notes.
That is perfectly and thoroughly uninteresting to me. Can I punch one?
It is
Probably.
unwise to fight one that is considered property of another in the city.
Fair enough.
But these do roam the jungles and are quite commonly hunted for, well, to eat, for their bones to make supplies.
Well, works for me. Sounds like some tremendous exercise.
It usually takes quite a few of my clan to take one down, but there is a time and place for hunting. For now, we must gather information about this item.
Yes.
I am ill equipped to handle conversations with strangers, but I believe if we go to particular places of interest where adventurers like ourselves gather, we might be able to hear something of interest.
Inns, taverns, brothels, those kind of places, yes. Perhaps maybe even a mercenary guild if such a place exists. That being said, my expertise usually lies more in libraries.
Well,
Good
it would be
thing
better
I
than
am
being
here.
in the heat.
I am experienced with information. The people experienced in it. I am interested in the inn that he mentioned, the one for the common man.
I would have expected the other one, but well, let's go to that inn, I guess.
So ping on the map where you're headed.
Does anyone remember the name of the lower tier inn that he mentioned?
I do not remember the names. I was actually going to ask what there's a Raucous tavern and there's a one that they said
You were
we could
told
actually
that
get
you
sleep
can
at.
go to the Thundering Lizard if you're looking for a raucous time, or Kaya's House of Repose. Both inns are located near the Red Bazaar.
Well, let's head in the direction of the Red Bazaar then, just in general.
I'm
Might be able to
assuming
find stuff.
that is the red part of the map.
It's actually the blue.
Meh.
They got named by colorblind things.
I'm guessing right here. That's like the only thing that I can really think of would
Where?
be the Red Bazaar.
Well, it could be up here too.
True.
Since we are new in town, well, I'm not particularly new, but I don't go to the city. I've never been to the city except to travel elsewhere to find people to help me in my quest. We can most likely ask around to see if anyone knows where the location we tend to want to end up at is. I'm sure they'll be willing to accommodate people
There
fresh from
are
travel.
there's a bunch of people wandering around you if you want to try and get anybody's attention.
I'm going to cast. Can I cast guidance myself?
Sure.
I'll do that. Then I'll ask one of the reputable-looking people about where the Red Bazaar is.
You are my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kitsu apparently disconnected now too.
Hmm.
Hooray for Discord problems.
Yay!
Okay, Discord. The person will give a quick chuckle and say, "You must not be from around here. It is towards the very south part of the city." And he'll kind of give you a general direction that tells you it's going to be about right, somewhere right around this area.
As we head over there.
Okay. You travel through the town. The city is bustling with life all around you. Oops, I hit my mic. Sorry about that.
Mhm.
And all around you, you can see dinosaurs being used as beasts of burden to haul carts across area or lift large, heavy loads up cranes. Um, you see there are flowers, green plants, vines growing everywhere. They almost seem to sprout from the very stones of the buildings themselves. Um, yeah, you can see people as they're walking by some of the other buildings actually trimming away at the roots, keeping them back. You can see that you are in a walled city as you kind of pass this area here on your way down there. The walls are topped with colorful awnings um, that seem to shield the guards that are walking in them from most of the heat or sun and rain. As you're walking through the town, you can actually see that the streets themselves are paved with cobblestone and flagstones and have very deep rain gutter, almost 2 feet wide in most places. Tabaxi minstrels are playing different tunes as you walk around them on different corners and perform extra hard as one of the more fancy looking residents toss a coin to them. You do notice that you looks like you may have to pass through a couple of different walls if you're going to certain districts. But beyond that, most of the area seems like a very well kept city, except for a few more crumbled ancient buildings. But those seem to be in the more looser parts or the more older parts of the town that you don't seem to be seeing too many. As you're passing through, Uh, Kitsu,
An entire study could be made of the structural architecture of this place.
a beggar rushes up to you, grabs your arm, and begins shouting towards you. The Ancient One beneath the Forbidden City gives birth to a new and terrible god. The Snake Men know. They know! And begins wandering off back into the distance, shouting and shouting again.
That was
Quick,
bizarre.
check your coin pouch.
A passerby walks up to you and says, "You need not worry about them. They are odd. All of his predictions are wrong. He will shout from the top that the end of the world is nigh and never has been right."
Hmm.
Uh, I didn't quite catch what he's shouting. Did he shout something about snake men?
Yeah, he did.
Can I make a history check about that?
Yes, you can. Go ahead and roll history, but it'll be at disadvantage since you don't know the area.
Would
Fair enough.
I be able to make a religion check? Because for the supposed new god he's been talking about.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Well, even with a +5, I only have a 10.
The only thing that kind of comes to mind for you, Chun, is the only snake men that you can think of could potentially be Yuan Ti.
A disturbing concept to begin with. Makes sense,
And
though.
Zach, for Euro, you can't recall any new gods that you've heard about. You know of the trickster gods of Omu, um, but beyond that, you don't know too much else that could be coming from this new god that will be coming. Oh, we lost Kitsu again.
Hmm.
It seems his prattlings are frantic and not based on any
You
facts.
are my best friend.
That said, even though I have no personal experience, if what he is speaking of has anything to do with Yuan Ti, we probably should be more cautious about that. If those snake worshippers can tend to be, well, for lack of a better joke, slithery.
Do make effective poisons, though. Either naturally or from their venom sacs.
But actually, yes. So, yeah. So, Doctor, what are you expecting? What might you expect to be if this could be a thing?
Eh, I don't really put that much stock in it. It sounded like a raving lunatic. So,
Huh?
yeah, I don't know.
I'm willing to overlook it for the moment. Besides, there's far more things to be looking at here. On top of that, I am currently stewing in my own fluids right now. I was not prepared for jungle climates so quickly.
Yep, some of us prepared for anything.
And some of us considered that to mean be prepared for a fight.
The rest of your
Oh.
travel to the Red Bazaar is unimpeded and uninterrupted, besides some being halted a few times as a rather large dinosaur brings another cart past you. You will hear a crier as you're approaching the bazaar shout, "Come one, come all, the dinosaur races begin later today. Place your bets, win some coin, race yourself if you're daring."
Opportunity.
So it would seem. Is this? So, Ursula, you would think this is like riding the dinosaurs or actually like a foot race versus the dinosaurs? Oh, that's what you called them, yes?
What would Oslo know about the dinosaur races?
As you don't really travel to Port Nazaru much, besides when you left on your quest, you don't really know anything about it.
I am unaware of the customs of this port,
Well, that's unfortunate.
but if someone is shouting the name of this event, I would imagine quite a many people will be there.
Indeed. More opportunity for some more sketches at the very least.
Perhaps after we make our start at the establishment we're heading to now, we can head to these, and he air quotes, races.
Ah, yes. The rancorous lizard, or whatever the establishment was called.
You enter the bazaar finally, and I would guess that you are all a bit surprised as why they are calling this the Red Bazaar, because not many buildings are actually painted red. However, slabs
And
of
that's pretty bizarre.
but
Ladies and gentlemen, my bad jokes return.
I would like to cast Mending on his mouth.
no, it doesn't work that way. You haven't upgraded his mouth to be metal yet.
Warforged Minotaur.
You can see very large slabs of dinosaur of meat of some kind being hanged outside of some of the stalls, um, with buckets of blood underneath them that stain the gutters in this area a deep, deep crimson, almost that brownish of dried blood that for even a new adventure you're quite familiar with the sight of. Um, the goods that you can see around this area seem to be everyday needs: locally produced meat, vegetables, tropical fruit, a drink of some kind, very light looking clothes, and other oddities that you can't really place your fingers on as to what they are. Um, there's a few stands that are selling weird sealed jars of something. Um, Another that seems to be selling something that looks like a large tarp draped across a frame that is just that they're demonstrating something with to a few passersby. You do eventually find the inns kind of located both across from each other, but still a decent ways apart. One with the symbol or the name Thundering Lizard across a sign that has what looks to be a rather large dinosaur, looking like it's screaming out. And the other one just is a simple sign of a bed that says Kaya's House of Repose across it. Um, Outside of the Thundering Lizard, there is a bunch of people drinking, shouting, and just clanking glasses together and having one hell of a time.
I would believe we have made the proper choice.
Right. The House of Repose it is.
You walk to the much, much quieter inn. There's still some people talking about some people playing a very intense game of Three Dragon Ante. Um, Other people playing a few other, what seems to be a more local board game that looks very confusing with small little pebbles being moved across about 6 smaller cups and 2 large cups at the very end. Um, a very f- dark skin, but someone with very nice long flowing hair stands behind the counter as you enter towards the inn. Welcome to Kaya's House of Repose. Will you be needing
Hey.
rooms?
I say we go back to the Thundering Lizard. More opportunity there.
Then one room for me. I'm
A
betting everyone else is going to the other one, right?
Is room required to sleep in the city?
Pretty
they
sure.
do look down upon those sleeping out in the streets, especially if the jungle tends to, well, if it decides to rain.
I
Yes,
see.
I would certainly prefer. I would prefer to be indoors in such situation.
I mean, unless it is a true deluge, most residents here do not mind at all a little bit of rain. But you seem to be not from here, so I would imagine even our lightest rain that we would call would probably be a deluge to you.
Not that I would doubt that, and you are correct. We are not from around here, but I have far too many papers and scrolls upon my person to even hazard being out in the rain.
Well, for those of you who do wish to stay here, it is 1 gold piece a night.
Before Oslo makes a decision, I'm gonna cast a spell. I cast Druidcraft to predict the weather for the next 24 hours.
Okay.
Useful.
Reading.
Da-da-da, da-da-da,
So it's gold if it's not gonna rain, a cloud if it's gonna rain,
da-da-da-da-da-da.
snowflakes if it's gonna snow.
I don't think we're ever
I
going to
think
see
we know what it's
snowflake.
not gonna do.
You never know.
It's somehow snowflakes. Everyone's panicking now.
When Cholt freezes over,
Luigi, look!
A cloud appears as you cast your augury, and you can tell that it is eventually going to rain.
so since you do not have the protection of the canopy, you exchange your trinkets for sleeping under a manufactured canopy. Society is interesting. I will partake. And he will give the he will pay for a room.
A charming way of
already-
putting that, though not entirely incorrect.
When already paid for his room.
Ro, you are not staying at the House of Repose. You're going back over to the Thundering Lizard, correct?
Yeah.
As you,
What about the other two?
yes. So we know. It looks like Ocelar.
Gwenwyn and Gwenwyn, Ursula and Gwenwyn are staying at
Yep.
the.
Diggory.
Oh, he's contemplating it. The quiet would be better for him to better take notes and do his actual duty. But you don't learn anything as well as actually experiencing. Besides, he's bored. He's gonna go over to the thunderous lizard as well.
Okay. And Sershana, where are you staying?
I'll take the I'll give a gold.
Well, you three are packing into your rooms for the day. Are getting your rooms kind of claimed up for the day here. Over at the Thundering Lizard, Diggory and Rote, you walk over, and it is almost a fight to get actually physically in to see the actual person behind there. You are kind of knocked back and forth. People are immediately slamming large glasses or mugs of some form of drink into your hand and encouraging you to tip the glass back before snatching it away in your hand once you do, or if you do. Eventually, you make your way, and this is a much less nice desk. You can tell that it's still well maintained, but there's none of the quiet atmosphere in the area. People are singing. There is a bard that is just going to town, basically his rendition of Wonderwall in the back with a whole bunch of women around him.
What
The
is it with Wonderwall?
the person behind the desk, a Chilton male, a large bushy beard, looks at you and says, he spits at the ground for a second and says, "Haven't seen your type around here before. Welcome to the Thundering Lizard. What can I help you with?"
Ask you one question.
Yes, how much for a room for the night?
Explosions!
A bed for the night, if you can even call it sleeping here. 5 silver.
Excellent.
Economy accommodations and prime entertainment that I can partake in, likely. Perfect.
Best claim your bed now, because they are common rooms. So claim a bed and hope that it stays that way.
I don't tend to have problems finding accommodations, unless there's people as large as I am around here.
Before we do so, I would like to look around for shady individuals that aren't being too rowdy.
You trying to look for a hooded man in the dark corner?
Pretty much.
Roll me perception.
Alright, I'll cast a guiding before I do.
You can.
— 15.
Okay. You don't actually see the traditional dark hooded figure or anybody like that who is in the area. This seems to be a very well lit kind of inn and tavern. You do, however, notice eventually as somebody is kind of stumbling and they seem to be making a beeline, if you can call a haphazard stumble a beeline, towards you.
I put my hand against my coin pouch and I poke Diggory in the side too, so he's paying attention.
As you kind of poke him towards the side, he latches onto you, leans into your ear. "Speak to the wise gardens of Orlunga, east of Umbala. She can direct you to what you seek." The person lets go, kind of stumbles a few feet, and then just collapses onto the ground.
I check his pockets.
Hold on.
For someone so certain of maintaining your own coin purse and those of ours, you have no qualms about rifling through someone else's.
Yes, that's how you get a good coin pouch.
Can't argue with that logic.
as you begin to rifle through their pockets, just finding their coin pouch, the person quickly rolls onto their back and sits almost straight up in a startle. What happened?
Seems to me that's a question we can ask you. You were the one that stumbled up to us, a half-blind drunk, drolling on about somebody in a place with a thing about finding something.
You must have me confused with somebody else, friend.
Little difficult. It was you, and you're here on the floor in front of us.
I don't have... I can't recall anything from the last little while. There's just...
Man, we really made the right choice also. The drinks here are amazing.
just a weird urge to find someone.
Interesting. I am a cleric of, what's his name again? Of Gond, that's right. A cleric of Gond. I can take a look at you if you want, since you seem to be a bit ill.
I think just a little bit more tej and maybe some water to drink that away, and I should be okay. But I do appreciate the offer. Thank you. He gets to his feet. Pardon me if I did ruin your day. But I think I'm going to go lay down now.
All right. So since he's in a state of weariness, can I pick his pocket as he walks by, or finishes standing up, or whatever?
Roll me sleight of hand. You successfully grab his coin purse as he stumbles by you, and up the stairs. It has
What are my
a
winnings?
it has a whopping 4 copper pieces in it.
Honestly, better you than me. My big old sausage fingers couldn't possibly do that.
It'll buy us something at least eventually.
Oh, I'm sure. I get the feeling the two of us are going to get along famously on this journey.
I do hope so. You do seem to be good muscle.
So are you two
Oh.
doing anything else in the inn, or are you just kind of claiming your spots and going to find your party again?
I've done my thing, so anything you want to do, Chun?
I think I'm good for right now.
Alright, then I'll just take my spots and head on back.
Yep.
You claim your spots and notice that the person that were just encountering is sleeping off in one of the very, very far cots. Doesn't seem to be sleeping too well even right now, but he's at least asleep, you think. The rest of the group eventually meets up back in the middle of the red bazaar, and you still have the entire city to kind of explore.
I'll be perfectly honest. Standing here in the middle of this red bazaar, which makes sense, considering the stained flagstones, I'm not sure whether or not I want to eat all that meat or do a few rounds of trading with that. There was a particular famous boxer that I was vaguely aware of back in Waterdeep. Used to do some practice sets against large hanging things of meat. And yes, out of character, that is a Rocky reference.
Dun, 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 dun.
Before you actually said that, I was thinking of chiming in of saying, "Oh yeah, that rock elemental."
Yeah, yes, well, yes, the rock elemental. What was his name?
Oh, yes, the
Craggy?
boulder. He was I remember him. He was such a wonderful partner to work with. His fights were always so lucrative.
And this is how running gags are made. It was definitely an inspiration to me, that's for sure. I tell you, never was as much as the apparently Sorasana is heckling me psychically, but yeah, where was I? Oh yes,
Speaking of
that
heckling,
that craggy boulder. Out of character, note to self: do something about those alerts. Probably add more of them. Anyway, yeah, that's a craggy boulder character. Never was before. I was what's a good way of saying? Oh yeah, kicked out of the library. You had to. That was a good time to do something more physical, right?
Where the only thing I'm aware of the going ons in the city are the dinosaur races we were told about. So my suggestion would be head over there unless something else catches our interest.
Honestly, the dinosaur races seemed like a perfect opportunity as well.
Did we make sure that we can find a map of the city? Since we're still new here and all that stuff.
Yeah, that seems to be the proper way to do things, so we don't have to keep asking random people who may send us in the wrong direction. You never know with some people.
So you're trying to find a maps, are ya?
Wow, that's when you have like a little twisted goblin coming around it. Well, have I got the deal? Looking for a map? Are you? Well, have I got the deal for you? Yes, have I got the deal for you? Now, right now, we have ourselves right here for just the 5 silver and 21 copper pieces. I can give you this, the current edition of Now That's What I Call Maps 27. That's right. From the same company that brought you That's What I Call Maps 1 through 26, we have new That's What I Call Maps 27. All the maps you can possibly want for the area that you find yourself in, no matter what area that is. What say you, friends? Can I interest you in this fine deal right now?
As you are in the Red Bazaar, about 3 or 4 Chiltons, which to kind of give you a idea here of who you are dealing with. There is a Chilton. Really?
I don't know how we're supposed to deal with this situation that we're in right now.
Yeah, we could always go try and find that place that individual in the inn told me about.
Oh yeah, yes, the
Chiltons
finding of the person with
generally
the thing.
are look like this.
Ah,
My, what an eclectic collection.
yeah.
We have everything from Mesopotamian to Mediterranean to Bedouin to literally a samurai. That how is that not? How is number 2 here not a kimono?
The hell is kimono?
A traditional style of dress from a different era, from a different area of the world in a different era predominantly. I find it only ever read about it in 1 or 2 tomes back in the library, but never thought I would find one in this neck of the woods.
A
Assuming I knew which woods or neck.
a few Chiltons will start like waving some rolled scrolls in the air saying that they have the best map in the city, and the next one is saying that this person is wrong, they have the best maps. You have about 3 or 4 people who are willing to sell you a map.
But what about the goblin?
There's no goblins, at least here.
Fair enough.
Are you sure that walking into that inn just didn't intoxicate you immediately and you just think there's a goblin?
I do feel like I may have gotten a contact high.
Schizophrenia.
not discounting that either.
Either way, you can pick up a map for about 5 copper.
Well, irrespective if anyone else is going to, I shall pick up a map. Heck, I'll pick up one from all 3 of the merchants nearby, just to see if there's any differences.
Okay, cool. I can actually give you most of the information then.
Rot face palms.
So I will let you point out.
As a disciple of Zamu's never turns away more information. Even if that information turns out to be useless, having it is more useful than not.
I will point out a few areas, and you can mark them on the actual map here for yourselves. So we have the biggest thing that all the maps have is this area right here is the Grand Coliseum.
The Grand
Oh, no, sorry,
Coliseum.
that's wrong one. This is the
Oh.
Grand Coliseum. This one right here.
Eh. Why?
Over here is marked as the Hall of Gold.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Another thing that all of them have marked is this as public bathhouses.
That's pretty big for a. Yeah.
All of the maps also have this area marked as the Red Bazaar. One map has this area listed as the Warehouse District. They have marked this as the Grand Souk.
How do you spell that?
Souk.
SOUK. Souk. S-O-U-K.
There are a couple of temples marked. This is marked as the Temple of Gond, Gond.
God. Grand soup.
Grand soup.
This one out here on the small island is listed as the Temple of Sune, S-U-N-E.
Hey.
Yes, goddess of the moon. Makes sense.
They have this area listed as the Beggar's Palace slash Executioner's Run. They have this area listed as the Tirki, TyrYki, Anchorage, and just a picture of dinosaurs put over this. And the last thing that they have on there is they have labeled this area in general as Malar's Throat.
Sorry,
With
I just noticed that this was just Jurassic Park.
oh my god.
It's a dinosaur. They're all dinosaurs. Holy fuck, it's dinosaur.
And the building right in the center of Malar's Throat is listed as the Temple of Tymora. Tymora.
Goddess of fortune and luck.
Tomorrow.
What the fuck? They... I knew about the tomorrow button, but that's a new one.
Tomorrow.
There it is.
And this is something that you can easily see even from the bazaar. What is listed as number 12, or you can't see it, it's over here. 12 for me, is a large statue. It seems to be some form of man in full regalia that looks like leopard skin, feathers, shells, and teeth of some sort, with a cape of what looks to be fur and some kind of tails, wielding
Jaguar man? Getting-
a oval shield and a very short spear.
I wonder if we
Statue of
possible to
Rayman.
statue of Rayman.
That's
Rayman.
furry man.
Oh, furry man. I almost think it was preferred a statue of Rayman. Statue of furry man. I don't imagine the Jaguar warriors would appreciate Shaka Zulu.
I mean, it fits.
Not particularly, but
Did you
let's
listen
work
to the description?
yes, I heard something that sounded more Aztecian versus Central African.
No, it's like that.
Furry Poseidon! Oh boy, it's good to know that we're no better than anyone else.
Speak for yourself.
It could have been Quetzalcoatl.
So you guys now have a map with some, not everything marked on it, but a decent amount of stuff on there.
I think I missed one. What was the tier one? The TYR?
We have the Temple of Timora on here already.
There's
That
down
was-
here, the Tiryki Anchorage, Tiyki Anchorage.
All right, thank you.
Harry.
And the only thing notable about that area, at least it's marked on any
Tyreek
the
of
maps,
Anchorage, the only black guy in Alaska.
over this area right here, they have it marked at just a picture of dinosaurs.
Hence Jurassic Park. That fits.
Dinosaur.
Hang on. Let me see. Do I have something? I'm more than certain have something. Problem is, I have so much.
Yeah, then again, Jaguar Man would be having a rock and sling with a shield. But yeah,
You guys now have a decent idea of the whole area. Where do you guys want to go?
oh, they said that they want to go see these dinosaur races. Air quotes.
Here. Can I? No. All right, makes sense. All right. I tried dragging some of my artwork in there, but it wouldn't let me. Perfectly understandable and reasonable, so let's just ignore that.
Are you heading where in particular? Are you trying to find where the races are? What are you guys trying to do?
I am perfectly fine with figuring out where the races are. If we're still in the bazaar, after going crazy with that, if we're still next to one of the merchants that I bought the maps off of, it's like, my friend, perhaps maybe for a little bit extra, could you point the way to these dinosaur races I've heard of?
He makes a gesture at the ground. The races are held in the street, friend. We block off the roads, clear out many of the stalls, and they race through the streets of the entire town.
Fair.
Where is the most popular location to watch them from?
Well, probably any of the actual bottleneck areas or some of the bigger turns. They don't go into the merchant ward though, but around it definitely. But you'll find plenty of places in the city that they will race through. Today's races, I think, is just today's races. I think start. Oh, I think they said it within the next hour or so, and we'll start near the dye works and just loop around the lower section here in town, around Market Ward.
Oh, that is very helpful.
Where would one go to bet on the races?
For that, you'd need to find any of the any of the criers for it. He literally points to the same person who you heard initially. You can bet with him over there, at least, but you may want to find the dye works and see the competitors today.
Perfectly reasonable. Unless somebody out here is so confident in their ability to make picks that they can bet sight unseen.
If you want some insider information, Mounting Thunder is a sure bet to win the race today.
Mounting Thunder, you say?
Mountain Thunder.
Mountain Thunder.
Mounting Thunder.
Yes, you don't want to Yes, pardon my confusion. You had me thinking of some other tome I read back at the library. I could possibly get you a copy if you so desire.
You sound like
Yeah.
one of the other people who was just wandering around town. I think he went up towards the Coliseum. Something about him selling his famous book from the mainland.
This man happened to be wearing a fancy floppy hat and speak with an overly pompous brogue.
When he wasn't slurring his words, yes?
Oh, such a fan of all the times.
There, as best as I can do.
While I have your ear, I would like to ask, does the word Umbala and Wise Gardens mean anything to you?
Um, let's see.
There. Such beautiful art. I tried my best. I can't do things digitally. Arr. They would have
Also, drawing with a mouse in this situation is not the best way of doing art.
Yes.
Umbala was a ruin somewhere towards the heart of Chult. About all I truly know of it.
Did I disconnect?
No, I can hear
No.
you.
Maybe.
Can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you
Yes.
now.
Good.
You cut out for a minute there, though.
Oh, sorry. He just says that Umbala is a ruin somewhere towards the heart of Chult. That's about all he knows about it.
Okay, so it was just the end of the sentence then. I thought.
Oh, thank you. Ocelar, you are a native. Would you happen to know anything about this or the Wise Gardens? And just to help your memory along, let me do a little blessing.
Would Oscillor know anything about what's mentioned, or do you want me to make a check for it?
Make a check for it.
I believe it was a temple. So would religion work, or would you like me to roll history?
Um, roll history.
Okay.
They're both the same for you, though. No, wait, not for you.
No,
Let's see.
I have proficiency in religion.
Yeah.
And then as
List of the low
guidance as well.
Yep.
As a 30-20.
Nice.
So you know that Umbala is was a city that has been overrun. It's in the Aldani Basin, which is pretty far away, but a river does go into the basin. Um, that's about all that you can kind of recall of it, other than again, it's pretty deep into the heart of undead territory.
Ah, yes, I will. Where I've heard the name in passing. It's deep in undead territory and quite the distance away. There's a river basin that flows into it.
Disappointing. Not what I was looking for, but it's something, I suppose.
Things worth seeking out rarely are easy.
It doesn't seem to
Would
have.
I?
Oh, go ahead.
Would I know the general direction? Like, is it to the south, the north, east, west?
I mean, so you have your map of Chult. So she gave you your map. I didn't mention that. Let's show you the player map that you get to see.
Yay, player map.
Once it loads on my GM screen. It hates me. Actually, no, but there is a specific reason, and I will just go ahead and move you guys so you can see it really quick. Oh,
What's happening on my screen reminds me a lot of Jeopardy.
Pick your category.
Your categories are the Peaks of Flame, Mistcliff Mountains, Fort Nianzaru, Things Inside, Ramifications of the Peloponnesian Wars, and Potpourri.
so they actually, as you look at your map of Chult, you are at the Bay of Chult, towards the very top of the map. Um, it's actually very nice. Umbala is actually marked on your map.
Bala.
Mabala. Mabala of these nuts.
Wah, 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 wah.
So as you can see from that, there's not much that is actually explored or marked on your map.
Hmm.
So with that, we will switch back.
Actually, it's not too far away, all things considered.
Oh, keep in mind as a refresher for you, once we get
Never
into
mind.
that part,
Yeah, and you realize
one hex
that
a
the
day.
key.
What heck's a day?
Yeah. This place is no Barovia.
So now you have a little bit more of an idea as to for you. Um, and you hear that to make a bet or anything like that. You heard of somebody who's apparently claiming that they are famous in town. You know where to make bets for the dinosaur races.
Hmm. If that man who is famous in town is who I think he is, it would behoove us to either seek him out or ignore him.
Well, who is he?
Assuming he is who I think he is, a famous author by the name of Volotharm Gedenkamp, just more commonly known merely as Volo. He's the author of the Guide to Monsters, a fairly well-known and well-published book, although critics say it's more full of fabrications than actual information. But no one will argue that Volo is not well-traveled. A Ponzi prick who prefers pints versus truth perhaps a little bit too much, but he certainly has been places and knows things. Even if the books don't, even the books are highly, highly. What is the word? Exaggerated.
And I see. Well, if you wish to, might as well.
Are you really sure that he would have decided to cross the cross the ocean into these lands just to write a book? I mean, I applaud the guy, but
He bought a haunted tavern in Waterdeep one time just to write a book about spirits and ending up handing the deed away to a bunch of random jackanapes that he met in a yawning portal. Or so I've heard, anyway.
One of the Chultons will walk up. It sounds like you folks don't like this Volothamp.
Oh, he is actually, I'm a big fan of his. I've read all of his books. Doesn't mean I think he's he's an exemplar of discovering information, even if uh his authorial style leaves much to be desired.
Well, if he is so well traveled as you said, maybe I will find him and purchase the book.
All of, as I've said before, all information is good information, even if it's bad information. It's just more.
So, I do not follow. Are we to seek out this Volo or not?
It is a choice. Personally, I would wish to go to either the Breaker's Palace, which I think will have the individuals that I seek, or the Temple of God, just to see what they will donate to us.
Hmm. Personally, I think personally, finding out what Volo may or may not know could be it would probably be more useful than anything else. If he's been here for even for longer than we have, and I have no assumed, and since we've been here only a few hours, he probably knows at least something that could be useful. Although we would likely have to filter out his discussions about how he slew a dragon.
Then let us go, I suppose. We have nothing else to do.
Who knows? Maybe I'll get some inspiration. Pulling out her paintbrush.
If I know anything about Volo, keep that out. It'll only help him. It'll only help.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, I would think we're gonna go find Volo.
Okay.
Yeah, to the Grand Coliseum where the guy said he was.
Well, it's a very short trip up to the Grand Coliseum, which is actually up above the Red Market a little bit, inside near some top of the walls. You get there quite easily and actually find a man in a very, very interesting is the best way to describe it, purple outfit with a big, fluffy purple hat with a large feather sticking out of it, arguing, or at least what you can assume is arguing with one of the, um, you're not sure whether to call him a guard or potentially maybe even somebody who fights in the Coliseum on the outside of it. All that you can hear essentially being repeated near ad infinitum is, "Don't you know who I am?"
Yep, that's Volo.
The very pompous prick.
Eventually, after about another couple of moments after everything, he ends up just waving his hands weirdly in the person's face and then stomps backwards and heads right towards your group.
Yeah, at least he dresses finely.
That
He
is a word to put it.
walks up to you folks, actually. "Oh, don't you all look like you're actually from the civilized area? I suppose you know who I am, at least."
Volotharm Gedkamp, author and researcher.
Volothamp Gedard. Gedarm. Get
I beg your
arm.
pardon.
Arm.
I beg your pardon. Some of the tomes in my collection have been very well loved.
I see you're a fan of my work. Good. Good for you. You must be well learned and heard much about my stories about how I slayed those dragons.
Yes, yes, indeed. Allow me to introduce myself. Diggory Stackkeeper, Leatherhorn clan of Waterdeep.
It does not sound adventurous enough. I would recommend flamboyancy with your name. Maybe even removing the stack keeper and something with blood.
That would be my uncle, and you would not appreciate him.
Well, if you ever want to become a famous author like me, then you must embellish a little bit. The Tej is getting to my head. Do you have any Tej on you?
I'm sorry to say I do not.
Anyway, I suppose you're here for the obvious reason. Each of you want to buy my book.
I personally might not be remiss.
You are lucky. I have brought signed copies by yours truly. And they are limited edition hardcover books.
A collector's edition, if ever I knew one.
50 gold pieces just for you, my friends.
And a bargain it is. Unfortunately, you find myself at a bit of a loss financially, which is all the shame for me, I more than know.
More uncultured people in this whole city. I swear, I'm going back to the merchant princes and just Staying there for my time here.
Out of
That-
curiosity, does he have where does he keep the books on him?
He's got a small backpack on his back, or what looks to be a pack.
Oh, but my good sir, you misunderstand. Just because I do not find myself in a position where am able to avail myself of your fine merchandise, that doesn't mean I don't wish to pick your brain about your explorations and excursions in this land. We find ourselves, as you say, adventuring in this area, and would be more than willing to provide. Need a little bit of potential tongue loosening in exchange for some of your finer stories.
My friend, Diggory, you said your name was, yes?
Correct?
I will be writing about you and my adventures for this one. I will have to include a dragon.
Obviously.
Maybe a small one, just to make you look more impressive, but still.
As long as you tell most clearly of the time when I broke its jaw with a single punch.
Oh, I cannot lie. Embellish a little
In-
bit, say that you were almost eaten alive by it, but you managed to escape and continue your adventures.
Oh, indeed. Indeed. Ethical standards and all that. I understand.
Let's see, I think for someone of your stature, a silver dragon will be nice. But you were looking for... He wiggles his fingers toward your face. Rumors. In my few days here, I've gathered a few of the land of Chilt.
Any and all of which I would be more than willing to hear over a mug of the finest drink that we can find.
Well, if you are there too, he puts his head in his hands for a quick second.
A thundering lizard?
Oh, we cannot have good conversation there now, my good man. You are a man. I have not seen a rat folk in a while. He runs right up to your face and starts looking at you and squinting, grabbing your chin and lifting your head up as he's inspecting you.
Yes, I am male. Why do you ask?
It's just amazing. Haven't seen many of your kind in a while. Anyway, yes, you can buy me a couple of tankards of Tej. The Thundering Lizard will be fine. Yes. Maybe it'll be hard to discuss, but I think we might want to go to Kayla's House of Repose and grab a drink there, because over the Thundering Lizard, you may not be able to get my full attention with all my adoring fans there.
Perfectly reasonable. We certainly wouldn't want to miss even the slightest detail from your stories, I'm sure.
He goes stumbling back down. You almost watch him trip a couple of times. He's been and quite drunk, actually.
Pompous windbag. At the very butter him up, and he'll at least ways those rumors were true of him. Butter him up and ply him with drink. We'll get what we want.
I was confused before we met this individual as to why we would. Upon meeting the individual, I'm even more confused as to why we would speak to him. He speaks of dragons, yet I see none.
Every single one of his books involves a dragon in some regard. It's sort of a signature of his. I highly doubt, and most people doubt he's ever seen one. Although, to be fair, a lot of his stories do tend to have more than a bit of truth in them, dragons notwithstanding.
Bolo, after you're just about to get to Kaya's house of repose, turns around and immediately grabs Rote's face again. You're a hairy goblin. I've got it.
I'm actually hairless, so
Oh, must be the Tej. He turns back around, walks inside.
He
I
once
do not believe.
mistaked a group of goblins being led by a dragon.
you know what I do?
What's
Rot
that?
says, I suppose I am a goblin of sorts in the goblin, because he does speak goblin.
Volo's already inside and stumbling. You can hear even from outside with even the goings on here. Um, him crashing into tables and stuff.
I wish I had a soundboard for that one.
We should probably go inside and make sure he doesn't get thrown out before we have any more conversation.
I ascertain that this source of information will be unreliable. I'm not sure if it's worth our
immensely.
time.
Oh, it will be unreliable, but some of the best lies are built upon the truth, of course.
That sounds contradictory. I prefer it when people speak the truth. Makes things so much easier.
Well, at least the one
Indeed, but
thing.
that makes the lies so much more insidious.
Yep, he's reliably, unreliably reliable.
And as long as we know that, we can account for that. Besides, I am a researcher. You, doctor, are a doctor. Rote, you have more than enough wisdom, I'm sure, in your line of work to spot through things. Osler, being more of a naturally minded individual, you can certainly pick out some of the larger fallacies from the local area. And Kitsu, no, Sorashana, I'm sorry. I was thinking of something else for the moment. Sorashana, you being an attentive, and I'm sure a very charming individual. Plus, add in that if you can convince him to heroically pose for a portrait, would be more than all of this would come into us getting more than enough information, and all just for a pint or two of this Taj, whatever it is.
Well,
I
let's
say
see
we get
about it.
blackout drunk and rifle through his possessions.
That too.
That is a good second plan.
Who can drink the most to challenge him to a drinking match after we try to get information from him?
And then I get a book for free. Signed copy, even.
All right, everybody's alignment is now chaotic evil.
I do not understand or agree with this method of information seeking, but from a distance, I will monitor.
Oh, don't worry. Next time we'll do something far more straightforward and interesting. I'll punch a guy in the face and we can work from there. How about that?
I do not want to know what information you can gather by punching someone in the face.
Well, it usually sounds like.
If you punch someone in the face enough, you can find out what's in their pockets once they're subdued.
I find a kidney punch works better in that situation.
Bolo will pop his head back out of there. Are you coming or not? I want my Tej.
And, sir, you shall have it. Diggory walks in.
What follows?
He has actually a very nice table already kind of requested and set up for you guys. Off in one of the color corners of the tavern part of the inn. Already actually ordered some pitchers of mugs of the Tesh and one for everybody in the whole area. Um, along with some looks like to be some
I ask you
cured
one
meat.
question and one question only. Explosions!
And a few of the more local fruits and stuff like that put on the table. You took a little while, but I got us set up with the table.
That's why we were taking a while. We knew you'd get a table ready for us.
Only good
Much better than
things
we could.
for my new friends.
I'll be right back.
Yes. And we shall make fantastic use of this table. Now, first, before we get all that deep in, perhaps, perhaps you might be able to tell us something about this Tej. We are new here in this area, and I have to admit, I am quite curious as to this particular drink.
It is a amazing local delicacy. Unlike most beers or ales you can get in Baldur's Gate, some of which are quite good, but most usually not. This is a fermented drink made of honey.
Hmm, a local mead variant. Very interesting.
It is crisp and cools the tongue on hot days like every single day in this God's forsaken city.
Well then,
Back.
with that, I shall partake. So ah, pardon me. The heat is definitely getting to me. This drink will become most welcome.
Don't mind me. She is just pulling out her equipment.
If you are going to paint me, I require my fee, and it must be approved by me before you can distribute it.
Well, we'll just buy you some more rounds. That would be enough, wouldn't it?
No. A good businessman such as myself never lets his image go out there without approval and without, well, being paid for his image. But since you are treating me to all of this fine goods, I will cut my normal fee in half and charge you 5 gold pieces for my image.
Hmm. Can we offer a deal off? Say like 3?
My dear, I am already giving you 50% off my image right now. If you want to try and talk him down, I need a persuasion roll, please.
Okay. Hmm.
What are you going to say?
Hmm. Well, I am also basically a student of the arts, and I'm still in a very very oddly position of still learning my arts and crafts, and I mean, it could end up not looking the way that you want it to look. But I could also try to make it a little bit better. Maybe. It's, I mean, it could be. This is basically me practicing my painting arts.
Fine, 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 fine. You may paint me, but you cannot distribute the art.
Then we have a deal.
And if I find that you have, I will come for you for every single coin that ever crosses your palm. Now,
Don't worry, it won't be sold.
now that that's out of the way, he takes a big gulp from the mug in front of him. You were asking for rumors.
Yes. We have heard some interesting things have come out of the jungle of late. Great beasts, vile curses. Figured, why not begin with one who would know?
Silence.
Mhm.
Complete.
Roll 20, keep up with me.
Silence. Well, the guy attacked by an invisible creature. Just kidding.
We didn't know that Volo was cursed with invisible cats.
Well, let me spin you some tales, friend. I've quite the few rumors here for you. The first I can tell you is that the great god of the land of Tau, I think that's how you say it, loves mazes. If you happen to go to a maze of any kind and trace a path through it, you'll earn his favor.
Hmm.
What else have I heard? I suppose some people have told of a ruined city that's up the river Tath, past the Kalakaka Gorge. Supposedly, nobody's ever ventured past that. But that's not true. Just most people don't survive. I think there's probably a dragon, or worse, maybe a beholder. Which one sounds better?
Being perfectly honest, sir, perhaps switching it up? You do write of dragons a lot. Beholders could be a little bit more twisty, perhaps.
You are right, they could be more interesting. But I digress. I, however, have it on good authority that those ruins are actually guarded by a Naga, who is both apparently generous and wise. But the beholder does sound better. So I will write of a beholder there for you.
I look forward to seeing this new volume.
Now, my friend Diggory, you You may actually like this next one. That deep, somewhere in the heart of the jungle, is a city built by only minotaurs. It is, of course, overrun by snake people now, but or even things that are worse that dwell below. But you know, still was built by minotaurs.
You, sir, are very correct. An ancient city of Minotaur. Such a discovery would be tremendous in my order. Even if
Another
we, even if we couldn't retake it, just the knowledge of its location.
indeed. I will have to visit your order when I get back.
Oh, oh, absolutely. I'm sure many would be more than interested in taking you on a guided tour through the halls of the stacks. You speak. You spoke earlier of changing my name from Stack Keeper to something with blood in it. No, it's a. No, I was actually I'm actually a member of a long-running uh, family of librarians and researchers. Stack Keeper is actually a title of some pride for me.
Very interesting. Anyway, back to my story.
Yes, indeed.
Let us see.
Yeah, I rolled a 23 on my performance of painting.
You actually do a very good job on your painting, Kitsu.
Yes.
It's almost realistic. You actually catch a perfect moment of both Diggory and Volo going back and forth in debate for a quick moment. Um, 'Cause, well, this one isn't very worth writing down, but I will still give you this rumor as a freebie for yourselves. Just be careful of any mists that are have a blue tinge. Apparently, it drives people mad.
We appreciate that warning. We will indeed be careful.
And I suppose I have but two more I've heard of here. Well, three technically, but one is so outlandish that even I wouldn't put it in a book.
Oh, put it in a book or no, I'm sure it's at least weighs a tale worth sharing over a mug. If for no other reason than to laugh at it.
Let me tell you of the other rumors that I have believe have some basis in there. That the first is that somewhere near the mouth of the Valley of the Dread, or Valley of Dread, whatever they call all these valleys have such horrible names. Have you ever noticed that?
From what little I've looked over the map, there is very little imaginative naming. Valley of Dread, the Cobalt Mountains, Snake Eye Place. Yes, it is very uninspired.
Exactly. Either way, somewhere within near the mouth of that valley, there is a village where people go to vanish. Apparently, they live out these happy, idyllic lives, but never want to leave. Who could never want to leave a village? Can you imagine?
Not speaking as from experience, but the rural life does pose some amount of charm.
Gentlemen, I hate to disrupt you of you guys as you're having your well discussion. There you go, Vola. Yours and yours alone.
My. I did not catch your name, young lady.
Sora Shana, paladin and exquisite extraordinaire the of the arts from the college of
Yes. Titles. I'm used to titles. Um, I cannot let this just go. I will make you an amazing deal. I will buy that painting off you for 1 gold piece, and in return, I will put it in my book and name you in the books, and even pay you a royalty of 1 copper per 10 books sold. Do we have a deal?
Diggory sort of looks over to her, gives her a very light nod.
Sure, why not?
Excellent. He forks over the gold to you, takes his painting, and you watch it disappear into his backpack.
That's 1 gold.
Yes, now you will have to find me for your royalties, but shouldn't be too hard.
She, do you want me to roll performance or just sign it? And
No. You don't need to sign it at all. I know who you are, and I know everything for that. We have a agreement between us, and I will put your name in my books. Don't you worry about it. Just remember, you get your royalties when you find me every so often. I will pay you for every 10 books sold.
okay, and there you go. Enjoy.
Now, for such a momentous business arrangement, there should be celebration. And my diminutive size means I can't really finish my drink, so how about you drink it up?
He gladly takes your mug and starts chugging. Now, where was I with these rumors? Oh yes, I have 2 more to tell you.
Yes, you last mentioned the Valley of Dread and a village of vanishing people.
That's not exciting. This one, however, quite is. That there is apparently not too far from here a dragon turtle named Aramag that lives in the Bay of Chult. And if you wish to set sail from the port here, you'll need treasure to appease the greedy monster. Can't really tell you how much. I'm not planning on sailing out that way. But he'll apparently tell you what he wants, and you better give him what he demands.
Indeed.
I don't think
Dire-
dragon turtles are very exciting, but they do have the word dragon in their name.
That they do.
Somebody was about to ask something?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Nope, thought I heard something. And I have one last rumor. He starts chugging his Tej again. Now, this one is the one that I just refuse to believe. Because it's just too nice. Just too nice. That apparently near the Mist-Cliffed Mountains, and he waves his hands off in some random direction as if trying to gesture towards them, but make fun of them at the same time. There's apparently a wish granter, someone who will grant you anything you want. And a village is at the base of their cave, and there they live perfect lives. Literally want for nothing. Never aged. Nobody ever gets old. They are all just prime, prime in their youth, whatever that is.
Sounds like a good rumor to look into.
Or at the very least, a good rumor.
Mhm.
And with that, we're going to take. I'm going to say we're going to take a small 5-minute break,
Okay.
so everybody can get up, stretch their legs, use the restroom if you need to, and then we will continue on with the exploration of the city.
All
Alright.
right.
That's like a good idea.
Hey, I actually have a break button for this, so yay.
Hmm.
Me too.
Huzzah! Breaks.
Be right back, folks. my audio, everybody's back. Welcome back, everybody in chat. I can't actually see my chat, I'm sorry. But we are back. So yeah, Volo downs another mug of Tej that he pours himself from a small cask that he has put at the table. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I don't plan on going out into that jungle. It's dangerous.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, as much as you have more than adequately explained its dangers, we find ourselves needing to to have an excursion out there for a patron of ours. We appreciate your concern and the warnings, however. Most thoroughly, we do.
What are you going to be doing, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, there's this thing about death.
Yes,
More
I'm
specifically, undeath.
I'm sure you've heard of this death curse that's been coming out, that has been afflicting people of late.
Why, yes. I am, as a matter of fact, writing about that in my new book. Volo's Guides to Diseases. I think it's going to be hard to write about dragons in there, but
Just throw in something about a dragon disease.
Dragon
That-
pox, perhaps. Wait a minute. Dragon shingles.
What if diseases are made by tiny dragons in the blood?
my friend, yes.
I mean, I'm sure that there's a thing called a diseased dragon out there. Usually around
do
the
know-
undead areas, probably.
I do know of a creature called a blood dragon, but that's a bit of a far cry from here. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Really bad reference.
Listen. If I was to give you some advice before going out into the jungle, and normally I would charge you for this, you may want to speak to the merchant princess. Or at least get to their shops, because they have some nice things to sell. For now, my friends, I'm going to a room, and I'm going to sleep. The bill will be coming for the table here for you to buy for me, and for my
No,
room.
Don't leave just yet. There's plenty more to drink, plenty more to celebrate. Have just a new friendship.
My little, almost not hairy goblin friend. I have been drinking all day, and I cannot stay awake much more.
Well, we can carry you to your room, so might as well get down every last drop.
The rest of it is all for you, friends. You are buying it anyway, so I bid you good night. And he gets up and starts stumbling and bumping back into tables and everything like that.
Damn it.
Well, even if that was less than I wanted, it was still more than I expected.
Well, I guess then our next place will be the palace.
Indeed. Well, Such as this was my suggestion and excursion to get that windbag to spill some beans. I shall cover the I shall cover the expenses. It can't be too much, I wouldn't think. His room was like what? You said the rooms here were 1 gold a night?
Oh,
Yeah.
you friends were the ones who were buying for Master Volo.
For his drinks, yes.
He said you were buying for the whole table, so the meats and fruits come to a total of 20 silver pieces, and the night for him is 1 gold piece.
Wasn't it 5 silver for the dragon place? The thundering lizard?
You're at
Once
the.
again,
You're not there.
Yeah, we're
Oh.
well, once again, less than I expected. So, 1 gold, 20 silver. I suppose that's just a full 3 gold then. Very well.
She does a gentle bow. A pleasure doing business with you. And keep in mind, I will forward any bill for any damages caused by Master Volo to you as well, too.
I mutter quietly to myself, note to self, skip town quickly.
Yeah, the boy can learn.
Oh yeah, we should head for the palace then.
yeah, the trader people he was talking about. Supposedly they have very good things.
That being said, if I have paid for all this food and drink that I have hardly touched while buttering up that self-important prick, the least I'm going to do is spend at least the next half hour eating as much as I can.
And you are able to eat a decent fill, and it's all actually pretty good. The meats significantly taste different from anything you've probably had on the mainland before. Um,
Does it taste anything at all like chicken?
it's a little bit like chicken, yeah. Like a really weird
Then it was-
gamey chicken.
Then it was likely all dinosaurs, and I'm here for it. Like personally, I've eaten alligator; it's really good.
Yeah, it's all. Most of the meat in the area is dinosaur meat.
I've not eaten anything exotic in my life.
Yeah, no. If you find yourself someplace where you can get like alligator or even ostrich, I've had that too. Yeah, try it.
Alligator does literally taste just like chicken.
Mhm.
Yeah,
little
but it's
bit-
also like a bit different somehow.
It is. It's exactly like chicken, but something that you can't place your finger on.
Years ago, I had the opportunity to have elephant biltong, but I didn't
Ooh.
because yeah, elephant, springbok, and remember what it is. It was like a deer type thing.
So
I didn't have any, but other members of family did.
You are back basically in the Red Bazaar. Where do you guys plan on going next?
I
Probably
think we have
to
the
that-
choice of the merchant purses, and I want to go to the Temple Sagan or the Beggar's Palace, but wherever.
Probably the merchant prince's place.
You
Yes,
will hear
supposedly.
some criers outside saying, "Place your bets! Place your bets!"
Oh yeah. Others of us wanted to place bets on that.
Well, well, you guys do that. I think I might just go over place a bet for fun and digest into that remarkably large meal. Ooh, good stuff. Hey, Briar, put me down for like what? 2 gold on what was it? Mount Mountain Mounter. No, Thunder Mountain.
Mountain Thunder.
Mountain Thunder.
Mountain Thunder. Yes, please. 2 gold on that one.
You're about the only one to bet on that aging Dimetrodon. Way past his prime, but
I have a 16 in intelligence and a 10 in wisdom. I am okay with this. I've run the numbers. I know that 40 to 1 odds are still reasonable, can pay out tremendously.
Well,
you will, as you guys are walking out, you will see that the shops are actually being cleared off to the side, and I'll show this for you guys here. You will see colorfully painted dinosaurs of all sorts being lined up and paraded through the actual little race course, showing off. People are cheering. The racers, celebrities in their own right, are waving to their fans. People are throwing some of those flowers that you've seen at them. It is now quite an amazing sight.
As a real life fan of the Kentucky Derby, I appreciate this.
One of the people will walk up, kind of wave on, like, the contestants are moving to the dye shops. If you pick your good corner of the race, essentially will be going around the market ward. He holds up a rather large map, strictly of this southern area, kind of down here, and he points out they'll be starting at the dye makers, going around the baths, racing down and coming around the Great Coliseum at the far end, and coming down the large straightaway, only to finish back at the dye makers. The first race that you still have time to place your bet on is for the four-legged beasts. Make sure you get the rest of your bets in.
I'm not a betting person, so I'll just watch. Might as well.
Keep in mind, we recommend, again, you stay either in the upper areas of the city by the wall, or stay off to the side. These dinosaurs are still dangerous.
Diggory just cracking his knuckles in anticipation of it getting dangerous. He's looking at these creatures being like, oh, these would be really good exercise. I've been itching for something.
So are we going to stay and watch and bet?
Well, I certainly am.
Alright, then I shall tag along in my own way. Roger will just look around for a group that is particularly into the sport.
Which is basically everybody has basically stopped what they're doing and is all getting ready to watch the races.
Yeah, since clearly nothing else is going to happen anywhere else, since everyone's doing this, I'll watch as well.
The first up are the four-legged beast races. Which includes the Ankylosauruses, Triceratops, Dimetrodons. All of the racers are either like smaller jockeys or even smaller races, gnomes and the sorts. Um, you hear you watch as a flaming arrow gets shot up at the far side, and hear a loud cheer going up from that whole area near the die maker. Um, and can hear and feel the stomping of a bunch of hooves and everything like that as the dinosaurs race around. About maybe 2-3 minutes pass before you feel it again, as you can actually watch as all of these uh, dinosaurs just rush past where you are sitting and watching, or standing and watching. Um,
Uh, when the dinosaurs pass, I would like to try and check the pockets of those who seem particularly interested, those and distracted.
okay, go ahead and roll sleight of hand with advantage.
And guidance. Apparently.
Double advantage.
How do I enable an advantage?
If you roll
Uh,
from D&D Beyond, there should be a button once you click to roll for it. You'll say A advantage.
yeah. You can also hold left shift. Left shift gives you advantage. Left control gives you disadvantage.
Or you can just roll 2d20 and take the higher result. There it goes.
Mhm.
And
+3. So
24.
No matter what, it would have been a 20.
While this is going on, Diggory's just being like, all right, so which one's mounted lightning?
I was just about to say, you can tell without even really guessing. After a large pack of dinosaurs pass you, you see a very old looking dinosaur, about maybe 30-40 seconds behind the pack, stumbling through.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I give you luck.
And
Well,
Rote, you're reaching into a pocket of a very distracted but buff looking man who really seems into the race. You grab his purse and slowly pull back, and suddenly feel a hand gripping your wrist, crushing down on it. I would suggest that unless you want to end up under the pack, you release my purse.
hmm.
Indigestion aside, if you don't want the same, release my friend.
I shall let go of the purse and
He lets go of Rote's arm and takes a couple steps back from you, Diggory. I've no quarrel with you, just he was trying to take my purse.
yes, it's just an opportunity. You can't blame me for trying, now can you?
I can report you to the guards and have you arrested.
Yes, but do you think that would go over very well with my compatriots?
Unless you all want to spend plenty of time in jail.
I do not have. I'm not with them. Don't mind me.
You folks aren't from really around here, so look, I understand. Technically, I'm actually one of the thugs that's supposed to be watching out for the people who don't pay when they lose their bets. So I will let that go. You don't really want anybody to have a sanction against you, do you?
No, and
Fair
this
enough.
is the best course of action.
As someone who is definitely losing their bet, I appreciate your work.
Just make sure you pay, and we won't have any problems. And you'll hear a loud cheer after that, and they announce that Uptow's favorite has won the race. A young Triceratops that's been on a winning streak for a long time. Next race is gonna be the two-legged race. You have time to get your bets in. Place your bets.
I think I'm going to sit this one out. I'm not made of money, and I've spent too much of it already.
The person that you just ran into, I assumed you've already paid your bet, your loss.
If assuming that he was taking the money at the time, yes.
Okay. He looks over at you. If you want some a really good chance to win something, wait until the Unchained race, which is after this one. Place a large bet on Big Honker.
That is a name.
It's a big Tyrannosaurus Rex.
That's a honker, all right.
Or if you are one to potentially try and do that, Nasty Boy is racing in this race. It's actually a very good chance for him to win. And the racer is pretty famous. He's quite well, won plenty of championships. He's at a 1 to 3 odd to win.
I'll put 4 gold on him.
Considering the last prestigious we got was the joke one, I would like to roll insight.
Go ahead and roll insight. From what you can tell, you tell him the truth.
Yeah, I'll put 4 gold on him.
I'm going to stick by my guns. I'm sticking out of this.
Okay.
What even are guns? I'll tell you what are guns. Digger just flexes one muscle, even just one arm to himself. Yeah, you're a gun, all right.
Anybody else placing a bet on anybody? There are a few other racers that if you hear about, people talking about banana candy. Bone Cruncher even has a chance is apparently a very good one to win. Scarback has a chance in the two-legged or even in the Unchained race.
Ocelor barely understands currency, so I doubt he's gonna get betting. So I'm gonna continue to stay out of it.
Okay. After a little while, they call the bets being closed.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing happens. You see a flaming arrow be shot up into the air. Huge roar of the crowd. As the race begins, you feel the ground rumble, then suddenly dip down after a while. Few moments later, they come around the corner again, thundering. You can see the pack is much, much closer this time. These people are cheering even greater. Apparently, these two-legged races are a little bit faster, a little bit more that agile little part where people are kind of leaning their dinosaurs almost all the way to the ground as they round corners. There's even a few little snips back and forth between a few of them as they are racing forward. But eventually, they pass you, go on and round the final corner. You hear a loud cheer as they announce that the winner of the race is Nasty Boy.
Hey boy.
So whoever bet on them, you have just won your wager times 3.
Nice.
Yay. More gold.
And so now we will be back in after a small break for the Unchained races. And you just hear almost the entire city go up in cheering.
Yeah. Hey, that guy's information was actually good. You should try to bet on this next one, Diggory.
Hmm. It's a
Earn some of that money back.
Yeah, it's certainly a potential. Well, that being said, after watching that last race, I just can't. Just thinking, there was actually a bit of a sports news coming out of Waterdeep before we took this job. Something about a new sport being made in the beneath the city. I heard tell there was another lizard guy that just absolutely ran circles around everything in that. Wonder if he would do well in these races. Oh, wait, what was his?
Yeah.
What was it?
I heard about him.
Yeah, his name began with an
seemed-
X.
Yeah, I heard about him. He mainly only likes playing that one sport, though. Fairly
Yeah.
good at it, though.
That I have to.
Shameless plug is shameless. By the way, folks, if you
Hey.
haven't heard about this, we have, although it never actually gets played very often, a Dungeon Bowl and Dragon game going on.
If you can call what we do having it going on.
For the most part.
Quote unquote. The back to the game here. The guy who the collector walks up to you. You folks don't seem to be around here, so just to let you know what the Unchained race is. It's any dinosaur can race, and you can even attack. The dinosaurs can attack each other, and it gets bloody, and even racers have died. It's amazing.
I guess that would explain the whole why those rocks over there are painted red.
I think
Where
it has
would be
more to
the
do
most
with
blood?
Yeah, I think that's more to do with the local meat sellers, but it also explains why. What was his name? Big Chungus is favored to win.
Big honker.
Honker, thank you.
He's a crowd pleaser. Last race he ended up eating 3 riders. Didn't win, but ate 3 riders.
I am going to deeply regret this, but you've gained my interest. I'll put 5 on Big Honker.
Now, what are you betting on him for? Because with the Unchained race, we don't just bet to win. We bet to place. We bet to even finish. Or do you want to place a specific bet that can win you more, that he'll do something specific during the match?
You said he ate 3 riders last, yes?
Yes.
What would be the What are the odds of him eating more riders? Or perhaps eating one of the other one of the other dinosaurs?
He flips out a small book, flips through. For a big honker, finishing off another dinosaur is quite hard. He's at a 1 to 5 odds to actually eat another dinosaur, or kill it at least.
Well, I'm already gonna regret this. We'll put 5 on Honker kills somebody. Kills another racer.
Anybody else placing any bets?
I already won one. I'm good.
Yeah, you're already up. You're already up 8 gold.
I'm up 12. It's 3 to
Well,
1.
so you made back the 4 you bet and the 8 on the 8 besides. So
Isn't 3 to 1 you get 12?
yeah, but you spent 4 to get those odds.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won a total of 12 gold.
So you spent 4 to get 12, so you're up 8. But regardless,
Yeah.
the actual
Yeah,
like math is irrelevant.
I'm actually trying to keep track of my gold, so the math is relevant.
And you will hear another loud cheer, see another flaming arrow get shot up, hear a very loud roar almost immediately after that, and followed by a very loud amount of screaming, mixed with cheering.
I almost kind of wish thinking about it, wish I had betted that big honker would eat, or at least ways attack a bystander. Would have been that would have been fun. Especially if I jumped in front of him.
Almost immediately, you'll watch the person that you were just placing the bet with pull up a sending stone to his ear. Look at the sending stone, look at you, look at the sending stone, look back at you, put the sending stone away. Oh, he set a new course record for killing a dinosaur. Poor Mountain Thunder. He'll hand you the 25 gold. Oh, it looks like you've won the race already. At least you're a bet. It doesn't look like Big Honker is going to finish, though he has his dinner.
So it would seem. I can see the appeal of these races.
If you can come back in a week's time after this one finishes, there will be more races in a week's time.
I look forward to that.
By the by, I have a question for you then. Since it seems you would be in the area for a while, are you looking for a job?
I wouldn't be against some side work. What's in your mind?
Oh, we have a bookie who takes bets and executioners runs for some of the fights there. If you meet her there, she will need some help collecting a debt. A man by the name of Taban owes about 500 gold pieces worth in debt, and it hasn't decided to pay. Your person who you'd be looking for is named Kalahu,
Unfortunate.
and the pay is 10% of whatever you collect on the 500 gold debt.
Palahu in the what was it? Beggar's Palace.
Executioners, they're by Executioner's Room, but you can find them in the palaces, yes.
Ah, and who should I say referred me? I'm satisfied with just Bill. I just need to make sure I.
You can call me M'Baku.
M'Baku. Very well.
Baku embargo.
I'm sure he's heard that one before, Sorashana.
And to kind of emphasize kind of the whole point, the dinosaurs race by you. You're actually watching two of the Allosauruses that are racing, kind of snipping at each other. One actually grabs the leg of the rider of the other and rips him off and throws him into the crowd.
Stunning. As a complete aside, as I say to the bookie, what is the usual running cost to acquire one of these beasts?
For that, you'd have to head to the anchorage. Most run anywhere from 250 to 500 gold pieces to own.
Something to think about, perhaps. Well, I appreciate your time, your tip, and the work that you do, sir.
He gives you a bow and says, by all means, enjoy your stay at Port Nazaru, and hopefully whatever you are here for is lucrative for you, should I say the least.
So do I. Thank you, sir. Trying desperately not to be like, yo, sir, thank you, sir.
The crowds eventually start breaking up and start putting the city back together. You'll see people kind of giving medical care to those injured. And actually watch as a pair of Triceratops pull away a now half-eaten dinosaur towards the pits.
Mounted like lightning. Anyway. So, what else shall we do? We've buttered up a blowhard, gambled.
You accepted a job. Olo did mention that Alice place, the trading place. Apparently had a lot of good stuff. I want to
I
try
say
to
we-
see if we get.
I say we go to the debt collection before we can skip around town if he's gonna try that.
One thing's for certain. If it's gonna be this hot and muggy for any length of time, it might behoove me at least to see about finding some lighter equipment.
You'll see a few people who are dressed kind of like warriors looking at you. Yes, friend, your armor might be good in the normal land, but here, too hot, too heavy. You'll find good gear. We fight with light armor and good shields. If you
Little bit
plan on
better.
going out into the jungle though for any kind of adventuring, make sure you bring water and insect repellent.
Well noted.
Or at least a water catcher.
I'm I find the right materials, I might be able to make you something to make the heat more tolerable for you. For those of us in heavy armor. This is him, like, kind of saying to just the group and trying to make sure the other group doesn't hear it.
Since Osler's a native to this area, would he know a bit more about like traveling through the rainforest and a bit of the complications that come with it?
Make me a survival check. It's been a little while since you've left the jungle.
The 15.
Yeah, you will know that probably one of the biggest issues in the jungle, there's the two big issues in the jungle, which are twofold, is dehydration and getting lost. Unless the area has been well scouted or well traveled.
Okay.
Um, there are diseases in the jungle, obviously, but catching them is less of a worry versus dehydration and exhaustion caused from it.
Okay. All right.
You will have an idea of kind of, especially with that survival check, knowing that contraption that you saw at some of the stalls in the Red Bazaar, the ones that have the X frame and the tarp, is actually a rain catcher. Quite common for the whole areas, and it can easily, for days that it rains, which is most days in the area, can give you up about um, 2 gallons of drinking water easily per inch of rainfall. It can hold up to 8 gallons in the tarp itself.
Okay. So this is a bit of there's a gap in knowledge between player and character. Would I know about any? Because I know a bit about Tomb Annihilation. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't say anything that I know that Oscillator wouldn't know. So would that be everything about traveling through?
That's everything that Osler would know, yes.
Okay, thank you. So it is dehydration is the biggest killer. Getting lost is number 2 on that list. And also there's some diseases, but not as imperative as combating dehydration. Yeah, Osler would highly suggest I I highly suggest the rain catcher. Dehydration is quite serious, especially
Eh,
in the heat.
I can solve that issue, no problem.
That certainly does alleviate that problem. Although perhaps having water skins would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes, water skins would be useful.
There may come a time where you're unable to cast this spell. It would be good to have a reserve.
Also fair.
Also, I think our strongest lead currently is to Umbala. And since we can head into there by river, I think a vessel would be also a good purchase.
With that, since it is 7 o'clock now, we've been playing for 3 hours. We will call it for a session.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, I gotta say, I might have been a little bit more trepidatious about playing again, but that was mostly because I hadn't eaten yet today. So, but yeah, this is shaping up to be pretty fun. And just from the top, I'm sorry if I ended up being very much like the narrative hog of this one.
It kind of, at least for my character, it worked because I said this during the break that he's horribly, horribly awkward in social situations. So having someone that takes the reins, currently my character's like, yeah, okay.
Which still just seems weird considering how low my charisma is.
Low charisma doesn't necessarily mean awkward in social situations. It just means you're crap at actually persuading people.
True.
Like everybody needs a face. Every group needs a face. Doesn't matter how good the face is. They just need a face. And you just happen to become that face.
I guess. I just hope it's not just me being too much of a narcissist.
Fine
Yeah.
if they don't really like being the face.
But folks, with that being said, for all of you in Twitch land, I am going to be getting going. Thank you for everybody sticking around. Let's see if there's anybody, now that I can actually move my Streamlabs over to take a see here.
And much the same on my side. Thank you all for being here, hanging around, chatting, being all around cool dudes. We will see you in the next game.
See everybody later.
Yep. As soon as I get my